Today I want to share some thoughts that I have learned over these 16 years of homeschooling that I think will help you simplify and just help you think of goals that will help you have realistic expectations. But I want to say first that if you are willing to homeschool and God's called you to do this, that something amazing happens. You know why? Because you've taken what you have in your hands, and it's going to look different for everybody. You've taken and given that to the Lord, and He can use that. You may be someone that was not a star student. You may be someone that was, or maybe someone that wished they were homeschooled, or maybe you have a teacher's degree. Maybe you don't. But I think it does not matter as long as you come to the Lord with an open heart and an open mind for what God has, not just for your children, but also for you. Welcome to Learning with Boys. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys. We have been homeschooling for 16 years and I have graduated too. This school year I have a 6th grader and an 11th grader, and I just want to share some thoughts with you of things that I have learned on this journey of homeschooling that I hope will encourage you no matter what stage you're in, whether you're thinking about homeschooling, whether you've been in it for a few years, or whether you have been in it longer than I have. So sometimes we all need reminders. I know that I do. And just remembering most of all that God has chosen you to do this, and it is not easy. It is not. And there will be different seasons with different challenges, but I know that God is faithful, and there will be hard times, but He is with us through that, not only teaching our children, but also teaching us. You know, for me, there's been some of my kids where it has been a challenge of just finding something to work that works when they were younger. I had one boy, I seriously did not think that he would learn multiplication. But with patience and endurance and all those things that the Lord was teaching me, now that I look back, was it easy at the moment? It was hard, but I know the Lord was with me. Like, He gave me things and gave me a little bit of hope. And he did learn his multiplication tables. And is math easy for him today? No, it's not. But he excels in so many other areas. And I remember one mom telling me, she was told once that, and not that you can't, but most people and most kids are not A+ students in every subject. Yes, I know there is some, but that's not me personally. And so far for my boys, that's not been. But they do have areas that God has given them ability and interests that will excel beyond what I could ever have imagined for them. So I'm very thankful for that. All right. So where do we begin when things are really just pulling and they are getting hard? We want to simplify. We want to have realistic expectations. Let's start with what I think would be the obvious, and that is just taking a look at our priorities and making sure they're in the correct order. Making sure that you're taking time with the Lord and taking those burdens to Him. It may be that you actually need to write your priorities down and think about what is going on in each area. And maybe it's just one simple thing that you could fix. Maybe it's something that you need to spend less time on. Maybe it's something you need to help one specific child in maybe a character or disciplinary area. And just maybe spend a week with them, just helping them and guiding them through that. Sometimes being a homeschool mom is so much more than just the schoolwork and the books. We are teaching and training up the next generation. When you ask the Lord and you're praying, be specific about your request and be consistent in that prayer. Some parents will encourage individual time with your kids. Maybe that's not even practical right now, but you could still find a specific time during the day. Maybe it is the morning time. Maybe it's after lunch, to have a quality time with them, whether it just be a read aloud with everybody. Maybe you have older kids where they could read to everybody while you're getting lunch ready. Maybe it could just be an audio. We have done that so many times and it has been so helpful. I just needed a mental break, a downtime myself. So we would put an audiobook on while I got lunch ready, while we ate lunch. So it sort of was helpful. We were all enjoying the same thing, but I wasn't having to do all the work at the time. So that is an option. You may have to let some things go. As I said, think about what your priorities are. I know for me, when I'm teaching the kids, when I'm talking about homeschool in general, not everything else in life, like your husband and the Lord and your kids, but in the homeschool realm of it, I'm thinking about the 3 R's, the reading, the writing, the arithmetic. Sometimes there might be seasons where there's not a lot of time for the extra, for the morning basket, or for the history and science even, depending on the age. If you have children that are at the age of independence, then obviously that you can give them that work to do. But I do encourage you, at least in the morning, even to do some Bible, even if it's just something that the Lord spoke to you about that morning that you can share with them. There was many times that I did that, but I really feel like the Lord was leading me to do that with them. And then usually we had to read aloud. But I know for some of my kids, there's been different seasons where we had to do Bible and then get straight into school, because I had some that by the time like 11 o'clock or even after lunch, their brain was like jello. Like thinking about numbers and math was not going to happen. My 6th grader now is a little bit like that. He is improving, but I did a video, I think I did a video a long time ago about doing the hard things first. And sometimes you might have to make that a priority. And then if you have time to do the morning basket, which I hear a lot of ladies will do it in the afternoon, because usually that's when everybody's ready to settle down and listen. Their brains are ready just for a break. So that is something that has always worked for us, is finding what those hard subjects are first and getting them done. Because for me, I've had a couple boys that was the only way it was going to work. One other thought, and this is a little bit about priorities altogether, and something that's helped me over the years, and I am not perfect at it. Things have come up, but just planning ahead. Think about, what do I have to look forward to this week? We have some appointments. We have, for us, sometimes we have church meetings in the evening, and I need to think about food. I've got a lot of people to feed. So I will sometimes, over the weekend or even on Monday night, I've done it. I've cooked up a lot of food. I'll make more than just that dinner. I'll make that dinner with leftovers, and then I might make an extra meal just to stretch. And that has been a blessing so many times. Now, it does not happen every week for sure, or not every time that I know things are coming up. But when you have a lot of people to feed, that is one of your priorities, and that is on the radar. So those are just some ideas. I know some people do freezer meals, and I have tried that, and I did a little bit of it, like usually the meat part, but for me, it's definitely helps me to bulk cook one day, even if it's just cooking up the meat and making spaghetti one night and tacos another night. That has really helped. I do want to mention that if you have a wide range of age group, that you want your older kids to be independent, but for me personally, I like to spend a little time with my high schoolers. I like to know where they're at. Sometimes we at least, not every day, but a lot of times we will at least read something together in one of the subjects that he's working on. So that is another reason, if you get in the habit of doing those hard things first, if you get those younger kids done with those hard things, you feel like you've accomplished that you'll have that extra, even if it's just 30 minutes of time of reading something and discussing what your teenager is studying about, because I feel like that really just builds and keeps a relationship with them. if they know that you care and that you're wondering what's going on. I feel like that has worked well for our family. Okay, so there have been seasons where we have done a lot of extra. When I had all the boys, they were closer in age. My youngest is a little bit, there's an age gap there. But you know, we did do the hard things first. We got the hard things done in the morning. And then we would do the history and science. But I did a video recently about notebooking and lap books. Now, and that wasn't something I did every day or every week. And actually the lap books themselves were something I did in the evening after dinner. When my husband had a different work schedule and wasn't home early, I knew that I needed to have something to do with them. And I'm talking early elementary age. And it may have been only a 2 or 3 week subject, like we did something on plants or something on history. And more than likely it was during this time of year, because other than that, they were outside a lot if it was nice outside. So I just wanted to share those thoughts, that it doesn't always have to look a certain way with your schedule. You may have an idea and you want to do something extra. Where can you fit it in? Can it fit in? If it can't, it can wait. But maybe you have one night a week that you can work on something fun. That is just a thought. I know that evenings don't work for most people, but maybe you're in a situation that I was at one time. So I thought I would share that with you. All right, so just finding ways, maybe outside the box, to simplify. And really, for me, the only way to simplify is just to make sure my expectations are realistic. So I hope this video was helpful and encouraging. I do enjoy doing homeschool videos. I do have a 6th grader and an 11th grader I want to share. There's a couple curriculums that I'm going to be sharing reviews about in the coming month or so. If there's something particular you have a question about or would like to see, I would love for you to drop me a note below. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you again soon.